You're seeing it everywhere this morning. Who's not talking about Aaron Rodgers getting what he wants, right?
Well, let's backtrack a little bit and say the Jets blew that game. The Jets were jetting. They had every chance to win that game. And don't tell us that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any pull, because I guarantee you that the field goal kicker's gone. He doesn't want him to play. There's no way that guy is not getting
Greg Zuerlein's like,
mugged by Aaron Rodgers.
There were windy conditions.
I know, but don't tell me that. He's not happy about it.
He did get Mike Williams booted right now.
Well, that's where I was going.
Yeah. By the way, I think Greg Zuerlein sent Aaron Rodgers an edible arrangement just to try to smooth it over. Like, I'm sorry, Aaron.
Aaron Rodgers can't hide his discontent, how unhappy he is with the way the team's playing. I'm not saying he should be happy, but he really wears it on his face. And that can't feel good for his teammates. It's just the eye test. That's just what I notice. Right or wrong. I mean, I'm looking at highlights now.
Yeah.
And all you see is him looking aggravated and frustrated. And if that's what it takes to get things to happen, then, hey, it worked because, like Danny G said, Mike Williams, out.
You know what he looks like?
Davante Adams, in.
You know what it reminds me of? You know when you clean up your house and your kids immediately make a mess after, like, you just folded the blankets, fluffed the pillows.
Yeah.
And your kids just make a mess. You give that look that, you know the famous Ben Affleck meme where he's smoking a cigarette with his eyes closed?
Of course. With that blue sweater on, he's got man boobies.
That feeling where you close your eyes and you take a deep breath. Like, That's the Aaron Rodgers default Jets face.
But when all cameras are on you and you're Aaron Rodgers, you know that people are going to pick up on that body language. But guess what? He's getting what he wanted. Jets are all in with Davante Adams. And guess what? The Raiders, Danny G's Raiders, sort of got what they wanted too. The Jets took on the entire salary. That was the big part of the deal here. And if Davante Adams, correct me if I'm wrong here, Danny G, if Davante Adams makes All-Pro, or if he's on the AFC Championship roster, or they make the Super Bowl, the Raiders get a second-round pick. If he doesn't, they get a third-place pick. So
if he's a Pro Bowl starter or backup, or he's on the active roster for the postseason there.
There you go. So they sort of covered themselves there. Raiders making moves, Jets making moves, and I think this is going to work to the Jets' benefit. Now I think things could change, but there's still that stigma or something about the Jets where no matter what they do, they're still the Jets. But it's really weird.
You know, Dan Byer had said it like a week ago, and we had discussed, and I feel like we're sort of on the pulse of this story. Joe Douglas, Jets GM, unless Woody Johnson puts the kibosh on any move, Joe Douglas realized my days are numbered if nothing happens, so I'm going all in right now. Mm-hmm. All in, and all in means sacrificing a little bit of the future because you have Aaron Rodgers now.
Right.
You got Aaron Rodgers not as a seat filler. You didn't get Aaron Rodgers to be like, oh, look, fans, we got a future Hall of Famer.
And he's clearly not happy with what he's got.
Aaron Rodgers came with an expectation that for the first time since Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan, the Jets were a playoff team. They're 2-4. Joe Douglas is like, he's in Vegas, and he has an 11 at the blackjack table. He doesn't know if they're going to flip a 10 or a king or a queen. He just said, you know what? I'm doubling down, pushes in all his chips. And that's where we're at right now. And when you look at the Jets' schedule, they have a lot of winnable games coming up. And that AFC, Danny, we've talked about, maybe 10-7 is enough to get you that wild card. 8-3 is what they'd have to do. Look at their schedule. I think they can. If they get better. Listen to Aaron Rodgers' take on this a little bit.
And now this move lets everybody know, hey, it's on us now because we're going all in and it's our time to go out there and win games, get on a run, which we all feel deep down is going to happen. Obviously, I'm really excited. Love Tay. He's a phenomenal player and a dear friend. It was a crappy day. Yesterday, obviously, we had a real good chance to get to 3-3 and win a home game. Kind of gave that one away. I was pissed driving home through traffic. Had a couple messages. I was just not in the mood to talk to anybody. Got home and Tay had called me, so I finally called him back. And so about 12:45 last night, I heard the news.
I don't hear anyone else call him Tay. They must they have like pet names for each other. I love it.
So, A and Tay.
Jets are all in. It's obvious. It's, like I said, it's very much like you're in Vegas. you got a few chips left, and you're like, F it. You take your, like I said, you take your watch off like you're Clark Griswold. You throw it on the table like, I bet my watch too.
But it's got to be the right people. And I ask you, Rich, Danny, Sam, Beyer, Fox Sports Radio Nation, are these the two guys to change the culture and that stigma that the Jets seem to have? You know, I always use the analogy, but for me, it's a good one. There's always that local place that no matter what opens up there, it closes down in like 2 months. And people are like, I don't know what it is about this spot, but whatever business opens up and never lasts, I think it's the parking or something. I don't know. Eventually, one place comes along, and it becomes a success. For me, that guy's Lindor for your Mets. I think he changed the entire vibe of the team. Him and a few other characters on that team.
But
is Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams really what's going to change the Jets' culture? I don't know. I'm not rooting against it, but I'd like to see it.
What happened to that Froyo place?
Oh, you know, it closed down.
Wait, it used to be a ramen place, right?
Yeah, but that closed down too.
Wasn't it a pizzeria?
Yeah, but that closed down. I don't know what it is.
It must be the spot.
That spot, man. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like I said, some sandwich shop opens up and it flourishes.
Ooh, Fat Sal's.
Yeah, Fat Sal's. And wow, it finally took off. It finally is bringing in some customers. And they rearranged a parking situation. I don't know what it was. Dude, you put a good product out there, but you need that right product. You need that right guy.
Yeah.
I think Lindor is the guy that prevents the Mets from Metting. Is Rodgers with Adams going to be what prevents the Jets from jetting?
Ooh.
That's really what you got to ask yourself.
Well said. Well said. And, you know, sometimes, Danny G, you're on the other end of this as a Raiders fan, and Raiders Nation in Vegas and Oakland and the Bay Area. Raiders Nation, sometimes what feels like the move where, like, man, we lost our guy. Sometimes that move in the long run is like perfect, awesome. If it wasn't going to work for us now, I'll give you an example, and it's near to me because I'm a Mets fan. When the Mets gave up Max Scherzer in the middle of a failed season a year ago, it was like, yo, you just got him. You dealt Scherzer? Good riddance. You know, in that what felt like the Mets just giving up and getting rid of Scherzer? They got for nothing Luis Angel Acuna. Little Acuna was like a highly touted prospect that was like, yeah, give the Mets Acuna. We're getting Scherzer. Scherzer's done.
Yeah, and Acuna's got his big bro swing, so he's looking good.
I mean, sometimes, like, the Raider fan should also be like, sometimes there can be two winners in a deal.
And it seems to be the case as of now. But let's also point out the fact that what Rodgers is doing, I'm not comparing them. People get their panties in a bunch when I say this. Not comparing them, but doesn't it seem like he does have more power than he alluded to last week, where he's calling the shots, he gets Davante Adams, Mike Williams is out, he calls him out, now he's out. He has more power than he alluded to. I mean, he's getting what he wants, and granted, he's the quarterback, but when LeBron James is getting the players he wants and he's playing GM, it doesn't always seem to work.
I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, 3 names, Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, Davante Adams. I mean, without adding a little green to a little yellow and gold to the Jets uniform, he's trying to recreate the Packers.
Not saying he didn't earn it, not saying LeBron didn't earn it, but it seems like when dudes like that call the shots and they get what they want, it doesn't always equal, success.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Not wishing anything against them. I think the positive here, because let's try to be positive, is the Jets are all in. They got what they wanted.
And it'll be fun to watch where they go from here.
It's going to be real fun. And Danny G's Raiders got what they wanted.
What are you feeling about this?
I feel like this is all the Atlanta Falcons' fault. Because they surprised everybody, including us, when they took Michael Penix Jr. off the board. Yeah. This would have been a fun season watching Penix Jr. air it out with Davante Adams. Instead, we have a couple of backups there in Las Vegas at quarterback. The old saying, 2 quarterbacks equaled none, and all that. And it's just been a tough ride. I loved watching Davante in a Raiders uniform. I'm going to miss him. But, yeah, if Telesco can keep drafting some real pros, like the couple of offensive linemen that he struck gold with, then at least I'm a little more confident going into the next draft.
Now, I was traveling from Idaho to L.A., so I missed some social media hype. But you told me, Rich, that there was a clip of Davante Adams, like, just chilling with Rodgers.
Oh,
right?
yeah, on Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I didn't see
when,
that
when
yet.
he when he did his weekly hit. That was earlier today. Like,
That's so funny, man.
all of a
I don't
sudden
know how
there's
I missed it.
the little noise, and all of a sudden you see Davante poke his head like, "What's up?"
And you know what? Maybe that brings more of a fun vibe and more of a winning vibe with the Jets. I'm excited to see what happens.
Let's go to DB, and then I want to break down what the Jets have over the next month, and we'll see where we're at.